Hey Scorpio, got some oracle messages for you today. And sometimes we need to carefully listen, whether to ourselves or to something, and make sure we don't miss something. Before, when I was meditating, I saw a little train go in my right ear and out the left ear, and I immediately thought in one ear and out the other. And it was just your classic locomotive with steam coming out the stack. And it just that was it. It just went through my head. And then I felt called to open my eyes during this meditation, and I saw this tree of life Kabbalah diagram I have. And like a magnet, my eyes were pulled to the path of the hermit, which is the path that connects the two spheres of the sun and Jupiter, or Tifereth and Chesed, also named beauty and mercy. So this is the very center of the tree of life, the sun, and the middle of the right-handed path, or Jupiter. And that path itself is called the hermit. And when I pulled the I Ching hexagram for you, I got hexagram 51, Jin, or taking action, with that sixth line as a changing line, changes to eradicating. And those are the numbers 51 and 21. Maybe those are important. But this is interesting because this is a hermit-like energy here in the I Ching, with this changing line, this taking action. Normally, without any changing lines, that's just moving forward, taking action, creating progress. But here, I get the sense that something has happened. It could have been an event or an announcement. I'm not sure what, but something happened that affected people around you. And it may not have affected you directly. Maybe, maybe not. But it has at least an indirect effect on you, in that the people around you have been kind of shaken. You know, the two elements here that make up this hexagram are both thunder. We have thunder on top of thunder. And this is like a thunder strike that kind of startles people and can act as like a wake-up call. Maybe something like, you know, in a literal sense, a thunder strike or an earthquake or something that makes people realize, you know, something's not quite right. And if this has only indirectly affected you, you have a really good chance to become aware of some situation, perhaps some problem. I don't know if it's a problem or if it's just an unfolding situation, and take preventative measures to avoid problems and to learn from how it affected everybody else. So maybe there's something you're paying attention to, maybe in the news, or maybe something you read, or it could be literally in your immediate community and groups and circles. But learn about how this event, this announcement, this thing, whatever it is, affected all these people. And you can prepare, you can learn from that and prepare for it to happen to you, or to avoid it happening to you, or to know how to ride the wave when it happens, or something like that. But you have a good learning opportunity here. It's kind of like a bell was rung, and you're being asked to hear it, to pay attention to it. And make sure that this doesn't go in one ear out the other. That's one reason why I think it's probably indirectly affecting you, or, you know, in the I Ching it says affects one's neighbors but not oneself. And things like that can easily go in one ear out the other. We say, oh, I dodged a bullet, it didn't happen to me, it's not my problem, whatever. But there's a valuable lesson to be learned, or a skill to be developed, or something to gain from this happening to others. And you should take advantage of that opportunity at this time. And I think it had like an effect. It might have flustered or affected people in some way. It was a bit of a reverberation. And you're being asked to perhaps isolate yourself for a time, because another aspect of this is understanding your own power, understanding your powers that you possess, and learning how to use them, how to control them and use them. And a lot of the times this requires some hermit energy, some hermit time, some isolation, or maybe subjective or relative isolation, but some type of taking the time to look within yourself and listen to yourself and discover that power within you and make sure that power doesn't go in one ear and out the other. You know, a train engine is a very powerful thing, and you know, it went in through the head and out the other side. Like, you can use that locomotive force and power and don't let it go to waste. Discover what it is and how you can properly and productively utilize it. Because the train's moving, you know. The train could leave the station without you. So you gotta find some time to sit in that silence and not really move forward, but learn right now. Right now is a time of learning and self-study, learning from others, learning from the situation, and not moving forward yet with something. If you move forward now, you'll be missing a vital piece. You'll be missing part of your powers, your inner powers. You'll be missing a vital lesson or a vital piece of information that will come to you in this hermit phase. And I don't think this hermit phase is going to last very long. I think it's just some sort of exercise you have to do in the meantime for a little while. But this hexagram, all the hexagrams have a time period that they're associated with in the year. This one is associated with the spring equinox. I normally don't talk about the times of year that the hexagrams are associated with because they generally don't seem relevant to me. But for some reason, this one, I really felt called, like, mention that it's the spring equinox is the auspicious time. So maybe it's important for you. I'm recording this at the end of January 2025. You could be watching this whenever. These are timeless readings. But, you know, the spring equinox is not very far, a month and a half from now. It could be very far from the time you're watching this, but there's something auspicious about it. I don't know if that might be the right time to start moving forward or taking action. Right now, maybe wait for the spring equinox before doing it. Or maybe the spring equinox is the time where you can unlock your personal power and do that hermit energy, do some equinox ceremony or something like that, or just tune into the equinox energies to bring some equanimity within yourself, the yin and the yang, and balance it out. The equinoxes are a great time to do balancing ritual and meditation and things like that. So I'm going to develop this here for you further, Scorpio. I'm going to pull some cards. Let's see. What does Scorpio need to know about all this? The alchemical symbol of the earth. It's that upside down triangle with the horizontal line through it. So oftentimes this can have something to do on a mundane level with our finances, with our physical health, with our bodies, with our homes, literally with the land we're on, with the things we eat, things like that. Or it could also be a call to ground oneself, not get too lost in ungrounding thoughts or practices, and to just come back to earth for a little bit. It could also mean to connect with our families, our friends, our close community. Maybe get rid of some distractions and think and act close to home. Whatever home means. It could be literal, or it could be figurative or within oneself. The Princess of Swords wanted to peek out. That's kind of the Page of Swords. So being watchful, paying attention, learning from others. Yeah, the earth element. That one's stuck around. So here we have the Nine of Swords. And here on the bottom, in this deck, sometimes some of these cards have little quotes on them. This one says, despair and cruelty. So, yeah, I think something affected people, probably you as well, that was a bit shocking and unfortunate. Maybe it was a loss of some kind, or just something has left you or those around you pretty shaken and in more or less difficult circumstances, or at least really heavy in the head, thinking about like, wow, that's something right there. You know, it might have you contemplating your own mortality, the time we have on this earth and how to spend it. That, you know, things are temporary. Maybe the idea of abundance has led, like maybe some of the ideas of surrounding abundance have revealed scarcity, and you're feeling some scarcity at this time. But it might all just be in your head. You might just be afraid. This is where it comes in handy to learn from what's going on right now to prevent such a thing from ruining you should it happen to you. Now, many of these things in life that we witness, they eventually will happen to us, especially the natural things, the natural endings. Obviously, those all things end, you know, including life. So you might have this, you might like to look into preparation for your own death, even, to come to peace with it, to come to terms with it. It might be bugging you out that it's going to happen to you one day. It's going to happen to all of us. And that can be very, very frightening. You know, many of us go through life without ever contemplating death or our own deaths until we see a death and we grieve about it. And then we're sometimes forced to contemplate that this will happen to us eventually. And it can be jarring. But there are things we can do to prepare for it. We can do imaginative visualizations about our own death. We can we can come to terms with it, and there are many, many, many ways, many traditions, many practices, some quite heavy and dark seeming, others a little bit, you know, some very light. You have to find the practices and beliefs that work for you. But now would be probably a good time to explore some of those things. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be about your own death, but these practices also prepare us for other things, like they can prepare us to be able to gracefully deal with financial ruin, with relationships breaking up, with moving from one place that we used to love and now we have to move somewhere else. And it's, you know, these sort of death preparations can prepare us for any type of death, figurative death, metaphorical and analogical deaths, and not just our own mortality. But they can help us deal with whatever life has to throw at us, and it won't emotionally ruin us. We'll learn how to gracefully navigate all of the trials and tribulations of life. There are some poignant and there's a whole book called the Hagakure. It's a Japanese book written by, I think, about 100 different samurai over a couple of centuries. They all just sort of added their own little ideas into this book. And it has many, many, many practices on how, like, you know, today is a good day to die kind of a mentality, how to get there. So maybe you want to look at the Hagakure and get into that mind space. It's helped me deal with my problems, just that whole, you wake up and today is a good day to die. And you live as such. That might be a bit heavy, I don't know, but you know, we got the Nine of Swords here coming out on the earth aspect. So that is making me think that you are worried about the temporal nature of human life and financial life and just worldly things and the ephemeral, temporary nature of all physical stuff. And the medieval samurai had to constantly be in a state of total awareness of that fact, because they were meant to give their lives at a moment's notice to either their lord or to the people they were protecting, and they were in no position to think about it, to care about it, they were given orders to sacrifice themselves or honor demands that they sacrifice themselves, and they have to be 100% prepared to do it without any hesitation. So the samurai texts are a great source of knowledge and ideas that can help us deal with all that sort of stuff, how to deal with the worst that life has to throw at us and to be totally stoic and prepared for it. So I'm going to pull another card for you here. Disguise. Habitum. I also call this the comfort zone card. So you have a little gazelle thing chilling in the Serengeti. I don't know what animal that is actually. Jackal maybe. But yeah, this you definitely don't want to hide from whatever is happening. And your comfort zone might have been destroyed. Perhaps you didn't want it to be, or maybe you did. And you might feel a little cast adrift. You know, comfort zones are also a temporary phenomenon that come and go. And yours might have gone recently. And you're not going to want to be false about it with yourself. If it hurts, it hurts, and admit it to yourself that like it sucks that your comfort zone is gone. Now's not a time to pretend like you're stronger than you are, at least not to yourself. If you have to do it for social expedience, that's your business. I'm not gonna. But I don't know if you can open up to people you trust. You know, maybe you shouldn't hide it even from others, not even for social expedience. But you definitely shouldn't hide your feelings from yourself, and you shouldn't pretend to be tougher than you are. Because that can sometimes just make things worse, because then we kind of become at odds with ourselves and we're in a state of self-denial. You know, our comfort zone is gone, and then we're just, oh, I'm fine, I'll be fine, it's no problem for me. When it really is. It sucks, and you have to grieve the loss of your comfort zone and take some time to do that. But because when you admit that your comfort zone is gone and that it sucks, that it hurts, it triggers this part of ourselves that subconsciously or even consciously realizes that I cannot depend on having a comfort zone. Any one of my comfort zones that I create in the future could just as quickly disappear. And building a new comfort zone in like an actual worldly way, in an earthly way, while it might be nice or whatever, I can't get in the state of mind to depend on it. I also have to have a comfort zone within myself. I have to carry my home wherever I go with me. Oh, the hermit crab. The hermit crab carries his home with him. Wherever he goes, he has that shell on his back. So to learn how to be at home with yourself and within yourself, no matter where you are in the world, no matter where you are in life, no matter what stage you're at, no matter how difficult things are, how much you have or how little you have, to feel at home with all of it. This is a difficult practice to do, and not many people can accomplish it. But I believe you can. I believe you have the inner power to do it. You're learning that inner power, and through these sleepless nights, this Nine of Swords energy, a lot can be learned when we have those dark nights of the soul. A lot, as long as we're paying attention to ourselves and it's not going in one ear out the other, and we don't just chalk it up to life is unfair, I'm just suffering now, I can't wait till this is over. Instead, pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to the ebbs and flows of your emotions and your thoughts, and remember yourself while you're having these difficult times. Just be aware of everything going on within yourself and learn while you're here. Because, yeah, these dark nights of the soul, they don't last forever. These things also die. These bad times also die and allow good times to arise. And you don't want that bad time to just be a bad memory. You don't want it to just have gone to waste or just be something you want to forget. You can take valuable knowledge from it. You know, some say, I think it's Rudolf Steiner who said, wisdom is crystallized pain. And you can take this time period, which will eventually be a memory, and create a beautiful crystal with it that you can always look at in like your memory palace and remember the lesson you learned and have a permanent lesson that you learned from this and draw an ability or a power, a new power from it. And that power could be the ability to feel at home everywhere in reality. All right, I'm going to pull a token for you, Scorpio. One last thing to round out this reading. Let's see here. What does Scorpio need to know? Pair of lips. That's the concubine here. That's real understanding. This is like unconditional love. This is total and complete devotion, and like the best, most transcendent, elevated aspects of infatuation, right? A willingness to sacrifice oneself for another, to love someone despite their faults, to support someone, to give and receive good advice and counsel. That's just... So there could be someone in your life who is a totally selfless person, a very, very excellent companion for you, that you can talk to about this. It's quite possible you're not alone in thinking this. If there is some event or some announcement and it's gotten you shaken and a bunch of other people shaken, sometimes when that sort of thing happens and there's more people involved, you'd think when we theorize about it that, oh, everybody would talk about it and discuss it because the whole community was just shaken by a thing. But in fact, many times people refuse to talk about it. People don't want to talk about it. They get angry when people bring it up. And they want to just forget about it as quickly as possible because it affected all of them. They just want to move on. And that can cause a lot of ulcers, let's just put it that way. Bottling that stuff up and not addressing the elephant in the room. So I think there's someone in your life to whom you can address this elephant. And get it all out there, alleviate a lot of what you're going through. Or part of this hermit isolation phase that you're in will draw in such a companion, will attract such a companion to you through, just magnetics, through like spiritually human to human magnetics. As you unlock your powers, you increase your magnetism, and someone who understands you will come in. This could also be a part of yourself that you unlock. That idea of feeling at home wherever you are in any circumstances that you're in, even when alone, there could be a part of you that can act like a companion. Like you will find a lot of self-love, self-forgiveness, self-understanding, self-nurturing. You'll be able to do these things for yourself. That'll be part of this power that you unlock, is being whole and complete within yourself and having the capability to soothe yourself and reinvigorate yourself and draw from an infinite well within yourself instead of from other people. Any of these are possibilities at this time, but I get the idea that you will feel understood and you will feel loved, whether it's from others or from yourself. The feelings of being understood and being loved are going to start coming into your life in abundance when you have this shift in consciousness about the temporality of life. All right, Scorpio. I think that's all the oracle and I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I always appreciate it when you stop by. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.